This afternoon we're going to be tying bluefish fly, a surface water bluefish fly known as the Gurgler. So let's get started. I put in a Mustad 7.4S stainless steel streamer hook. This is a little bit larger fly, so we want a little bit longer hook for this one as well. We're going to tie in our thread. I use monofilament thread for my saltwater flies simply because it's so much stronger and you can really crank down on the hooks and not break the thread. And being clear, it allows me to tie multiple patterns without having to change thread color. Once you get the thread started in the beginning of the hook, we're going to wrap back almost just about to the point where we're going to tie in our white bucktail to represent the tail of the fly. Don't have to be real fussy with managing our materials on these flies, so I just took a nice clump of white bucktail and I want to tie that right on the bend of the hook, letting it extend about 3 inches, which will allow to help this fly float up on the surface. And these flies, like I said, can be pretty much any color, any of the material that you have. Bluefish flies, I usually use some of the stuff that I wouldn't use for perfect striper flies, if you will. The bucktail, of course, is a material that pretty much is very buoyant. That, along with the foam body, will keep it up pretty good. The next step is we're going to take our foam and we're going to clip the foam a little bit on an angle, almost creating a triangle, which will allow me to tie it in right up on top of where we left the bucktail. Now we have our foam in, tied in quite nicely. Now we're going to take our saddle hackle, and this happens to be a blue turquoise color that's been laying on my fly tying bench probably for about 6 years. So I figured what's better to use up material on other than bluefish flies. So we're going to take that and we're going to wrap that, tie that in right up on top of the foam. And then we're going to take a little bit of body braid and we're going to cover the hook shank with the body braid. Is it absolutely necessary to do that? No, but you know, I like giving the fly a little bit of color. One wrap in front of the next. Wrap it all the way right up to where you left your thread. And then you just a couple of wraps, tie that off. And clip off the excess body braid to use for your next fly. Wrap our blue hackle forward, leaving about 1/4 inch in between wraps, depending upon the size of the feather. And you can see how those barbules off that hen hackle actually splay out. And what that'll do is it'll give it a little bit of movement when it's in the water. And we're going to tie off that hackle right there, clip off the excess. Now we're going to take our foam that we tied in and we're just going to drape it over. And I like to pinch it a little bit and just tie it just behind the eye of the hook. 3 or 4 real tight wraps. Now what this foam is going to do is it's going to keep this fly right up on the surface. The remaining foam I'm just going to peel back, bend back for a second, get in front of it, make 3 or 4 finish wraps, then get your whip finisher out and complete the fly. The paddle in the front, we just want to cut that somewhat shorter. This fly is ready to fish. As this gets pulled through the water, this paddle on the front is going to make a nice splashing, bubbling action. That's where it gets its name, the Gurgler.